Hello, my crafty friends. Today, my card is for Karen Burniston's Designer Challenge, October 2020. And it was a fun challenge. It's an inspired by challenge. And she put names in a hat and chose my name to be inspired by her, which was awesome but terrifying at the same time because everything she does inspires me. So trying to narrow down what I wanted to create that was inspired by her was difficult. But I did come up with something. So I'm going to show you that first and then we can go into some card details because this card has a story. So of course it says celebrate, and after I had the card done and I decided I didn't want to do a belly band to hold it closed, I added some magnets and put the flap enclosure die on it. It's adhered at the back, and it does cut off some of the celebrate word, but I decided I was okay with that. It's fairly obvious that it's going to say celebrate. It's going to kind of lead the recipient to open the flap. So when you open the flap, let me move this out of the way. Ta-da! Isn't that fun? So I used Karen Burniston's billboard technique where she used the surprise ball, and I believe it was for Valentine's Day. I will have my coordinating blog post linked below, and in that post you will see a link to her project that inspired me. So what I did differently is I used the Biddy Ball pop-up, which is smaller than the surprise ball pop-up. It is designed to fit inside an A2 card, and because you know I love acetate, I did my billboard out of acetate and then used leaves from the landscape scene to decorate the front, and the flowers are from the flip frame pop-up. I also used Karen Burniston's Happy Birthday, inked the edges lightly, and glue dots is what I used to adhere everything down onto the acetate panel. I have found that glue dots work the best for me. Other people have other solutions, but for me, I use glue dots. So it does fold flat for mailing, and I know, and it does mail because I mailed it. But we'll talk about that story in a minute. So flap enclosure. To hold it closed. The flamingo is from the Beach Charms. I added some glitter dots and Wink of Stella, and this large leaf here is also from the landscape scene. So there's some fun tropical leaves in there. The pattern paper is an older pattern paper I've had in my stash. It is by Linda Canassi and it's called Tropical Vibes. I'm sure it's long retired, but I loved the colors in it. So and it worked really good for this card. Now this card is larger than A2. It is folded 4.5 by 6 inches and it fits in an A6 envelope. The stamp is from Riley and Company. I added another leaf, just a fishtail banner for some added interest on this side. The pattern here is actually a cut apart from the patterned paper, as is this border, and because they're meant for photos, it's 4 by 6, and so that panel is actually what inspired my card today. So I knew I needed to have a card that had at least a 6-inch depth. So that's why I went with the A6 at a 4.5-inch width. So 4.5 by 6 inches worked perfectly for the cut aparts. This little circle here is the Crosshatch Circles, also by Karen Burniston. I just snipped off an edge of it and added it just as a detail. There was just a fun little scrap of that pattern paper left over and it seemed to match perfectly for the card, so I used the die to cut it out. Lots of Wink of Stella or Gold Nouveau glitter pen added. The leaves were all die cut from green cardstock, and I added a little bit of color by dabbing my ink pad onto my glass mat, just a regular dye ink, picking up the color with a water brush and painting them on. And I did that after the card was pretty much assembled. The glitter dots add a little more sparkle here, and of course there's still some, I'm not sure if it'll show up in the video, but there is lots of shimmer and shine on the leaves. And as I said, the flowers come from the flip frame pop-up. I love it. I love the bounce. And now the funny story. Karen Burniston often gives the design team an idea of the upcoming challenges in case we want to work ahead. I knew it would be a challenge trying to narrow down what I wanted to do because, as I said, everything she does inspires me. So once I had it down that I hadn't done the billboard technique before and I wanted to try it, I immediately thought of acetate, and then I was off and running. I just had to make the card. So the card was actually done for a month and a half before the challenge. and I made it specifically for a friend's birthday. Well, it sat open in my stamping table. I don't tend to close up the bitty balls because that stretches out the elastic, so I leave them open and only fold them up when I'm ready to send it in the mail. So when it came time to send my friend her birthday card, I signed my name, I wrote her a note, I popped it in the envelope and sent it off. Never thought anything of it until it came time to do my blog post, and I had no photos, I had no card to do a video. I was kind of hooped. So yes, I am that person who had to contact my friend and beg her to please, please send me back my card so I could take photos. Which she did, which she did. So this is an A6 envelope, and you can see that the card fits in the A6 envelope, and it actually does mail. I added an extra stamp to mine, and she was being extra cautious and put 4 standard stamps from Canada. I was pretty happy to get this card back in the mail, and now I will send it back to her because my video is done. I've taken my photos, and I'll have to figure out something else to include because, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe I had to ask for the card back. However, I really wanted to go over the details with you. I had so much fun making it, and it opens up so many more possibilities for me using the bitty ball. So this is just another fun way of Karen's to use the bitty ball or the surprise ball pop-up, and you can change it up to be decorated any way you choose. So if you enjoyed my video today, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my interactive cards. And that's it for me today.